Over the last few days, there have been protests in the Los Angeles area over the attempt by ICE to arrest illegal immigrants. These protests have ranged from people just standing around with signs to the burning of cars to the blocking of vehicles with their own bodies. The National Guard has been deployed. You have the border czar talking about arresting Newsom, which that might be the one policy that I actually support. But I've largely kept away from even talking about the protests because I really haven't seen much I could say in the way of actually, something that has been covered already. I thought about going over there to just because it's not, too far away for me to go and like record some of the, I guess, madness. But I'm not like even saying this to be funny. With most of the happenings, in the state, I am kind of like flexible in terms of, well, maybe I'll, go and show what this looks like. We talk about like the different encampments, for example. Um, I would be genuinely concerned for my safety if I went to the LA protest. From what I've seen of the footage, where you have again the National Guard and these protesters, and some of whom have been violent. The pepper spray that's been thrown around the cars that are going in circles. It's not a place I would want to go to get my own footage of, even if it meant getting another 10 or 100 views in the video. It's just the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But really, what's so interesting about this whole several day affair is that the politicians in this area are really in kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where if they appear to be resisting of, and they have been of Trump's immigration law or just ICE and various law enforcement have just things having to do with immigration policy, they are going to be assailed and attacked as being anti-law, right, by the president with the 91 criminal charges, but whatever. And if they give up some of these illegal immigrants, or are not, are like complying with the administration, then they're going to be seen as, helping Trump and allowing him to enact his supposed authoritarian regime. I I normally don't feel bad for politicians, but this is one situation where they've got themselves in a real bind. And we've had dozens of people arrested. I my position with protest has always been the same thing, where if people want to do sit-ins, if they want to hold up signs, I'm all for it. Um, but when you start to physically get involved with officers, it becomes a lot harder for me to, I don't want to say stand shoulder to shoulder with it, but like in all seriousness, I don't like physical altercations with cops are always going to end up having whoever the opposing side is as the loser. It's not something a person wants to do if they're trying to at least appear to be mindful of the laws. But yeah, this is certainly the most notable event to come out of the area since the fires we had back in January. And I don't know when it's going to stop, because I thought it would just be like a one night thing, maybe something that's going over the weekend, but it's been continuing into Monday. Um, and really, I wish that people would just kind of take away this one factor. A lot of Hispanics voted for Trump, and that is, something that happened during this election cycle. I'm not going to relitigate it, but a lot of commentators were saying, how could a group that tends to be the target of a lot of these deportations side with the group that wants them out of here? And you're seeing that in a place like LA, where there is an abundance of, I think a majority, or at least 40-50% Hispanic, very large Hispanic population. You're seeing them protest the very likely taking away of various relatives and people that they know personally. But man, it has been wild. I haven't like I could do a whole series of videos on it because we've been having people again barricade officers from being able to go out and leave the area that they're in, getting into fist fights with cops. There was again a guy who was like they're doing donuts in the street with their cars. It's madness. Um, but then again, I guess if just to close that, I guess the real madness is like living in a state where people sleep in cars and encampments, and the only time the federal government wants to like start talking about arresting the governor is because he won't deport some migrants. You know what I mean? Like all the nativists always get mad at me, but I said immigration is something that could be fixed in a sensible way. If you know we didn't have again the nativists that just want to deport everybody, but they're not interested in doing that, so you're going to get more incidents like this, which again is sad because the federal government should have been in California a long time ago, but that was over again the housing crises, the ridiculous high cost. You know that's the kind of stuff that they should have been trying to address instead of their current policy. But we'll see how this plays out. I think it's probably going to go for a few more days, and then it'll wrap up with a bunch of people arrested, which is basically what they want to do, just get everybody some criminal charges over here. All those criminals in California,